The former governor of Mississippi, Haley Barbour. If you don't know who that is, you have no idea why I just did that, but you'll understand in a second. He went on Meet the Press to discuss some crazy comments from the Republicans, specifically Rudy Giuliani saying Obama doesn't love America, and Scott Walker saying he's not sure if Obama's Christian. We're still not past this bullshit, apparently. But Haley Barbour is going to discuss this and contradict himself in an awesome way.
You also write, be polite to the 40, but make sure that the 60% supermajority is welcome and feels welcome. Did Rudy Giuliani prove that he wasn't being polite to the 40?
Well, look, we got 60% of the vote twice in my lifetime, and we ought to run our party where we can still get 60% of the vote. I wouldn't characterize my views of President Obama the way Mayor Giuliani did. I think the problem with Barack Obama is his policy. Bad policy that have produced bad results. And that's what we ought to want to talk about. The Democrats are loving not having to talk about that. They would rather talk about Rudy Giuliani till the cows come home.
Should we care what Rudy Giuliani thinks right now? No, I mean, no, he's not in office. He's not running for anything. Should it even matter?
Well, he's like me. His political future's behind him. And look, to make this such a big deal is partially being fed by people that want to change the subject. I thought a couple of Republican candidates for president made the point. You had Marco Rubio on the screen there a minute ago. He said this is all about policy. Jeb Bush said we ought to be talking about policy. If I'm going to criticize the president, it's going to be on his policies and the bad results that produce those policies. I agree with that. That's how you run your party. How you can mass up the opportunity to not remember Jeremiah Wright, who is very unpopular among the people who will be voting in the Republican primary. If someone were asking me about that question, that's the way. If I wanted to be political, I would take the question. I think Scott Walker was probably just being truthful. He is a son of a preacher. He is a Christian, and he may have taken that question the way I did the first time I heard about it. Do you believe he's really a Christian, or do you believe he just professes to be a Christian? I don't know the answer to that either.
We should care about policies and substance and everything like that, and I don't know why they ain't bringing up Reverend Wright. Am I wrong? Who's with me? If you want to talk about policy and substance, you bring up Reverend Wright and you question Obama's Christianity. You see how easy they make my job sometimes? What part of that is substantive? I'm just curious. What part of the Reverend Wright is substantive? What part of I'm not sure he's a Christian? And look at this genius over here saying, discuss the fact that he went to see Reverend Wright, and then also, I don't know whether or not he's a Christian. Well, you just said he went to see Reverend Wright. Reverend Wright. Reverend Wright. A reverend. He went to see Reverend, but I'm not sure he's a Christian. That's like saying he went to the mosque, but I'm not sure he's a Muslim. Would the GOP act that way if Obama had regularly gone to a mosque? Well, come on now. He went to a mosque, but we ain't sure he's Muslim. And they'd be like, Muslim, 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 Muslim. You like that move? Non-stop pointing. Haley Barbour. When I was governor of Mississippi, I had to stop myself there. I feel like when mocking that voice, I'm inclined to say shit that he would say, and I'm always this close to using the N-word. Oh, come on. We all know that Haley Barbour behind closed doors is throwing N-bombs like nobody's business. And that's totally unfair, I know, because he's been on Bill Maher's show, and like I don't think he has malice, and I don't think he's like purposefully being a dick. But, I mean, look, the guy's a silly person. His policies are ridiculous. He wants to talk, the Republicans, I want to focus on policy, and us Republicans, all we want to do is talk about policy, and the goddamn Democrats don't want to talk about policy. Oh, we don't? We don't want to talk about policy. You want to talk about policy. We don't want to talk about policy. Oh, you name the issue. When and where, big guy, we'll talk about policy all day long. I'll wipe the floor with your punk ass. You seriously believe the right discusses policy more than the left? You seriously believe that? You couldn't put together the intelligence and the knowledge of 4 or 5 different Republicans and equal the knowledge of a Bernie Sanders or an Elizabeth Warren or an Alan Grayson. Obama, for all his flaws, and I think he has many, and I point them out all the time, is way more substantive than anybody on the right. You think Marco Rubio can hang in a conversation with President Obama? You think Marco Rubio could do that? Mr. in the middle of a conversation, and then I think the American dream is good. For everybody listening on the live show, I just got myself wet mocking the water drink. Fail. Haley Barbour. Let me tell you something real quick about Republican policy proposals. You ready for this? I hope you're sitting down. More war, more tax cuts for the rich, gut the safety net, and use religion to dupe over all your constituents. That's it. There's your Republican policy.